Welcome everybody to Motorcycle Time. I'm your host Joe, and today we are out on the Kawasaki Vulcan, and I want to talk to you about influencers, specifically motorcycle influencers, and the difference, at least in my mind, about being a good influencer and just getting a lot of clicks. Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about the difference between being a motorcycle influencer that's a good influence and a motorcycle influencer that's just click farming and is probably bad for the hobby. You can see videos of riders riding irresponsibly in a variety of ways, speeding, going in and out of traffic, doing wheelies on the roads, other stunting, etc., etc. And unfortunately, we have a society where way too many people see something on social media and then they want to copy what they see. And that can lead to some pretty bad stuff, especially in the motorcycling space. I'm sure there's other spaces that, you know, what you see on social media can lead you down some very bad paths, bad roads. But certainly with motorcycling, irresponsible behavior that you can see on social media is definitely possible to influence you into bad behavior out here on the road that could lead to you getting injured or killed. Oh man, nice shift, buddy. Thank God the Vulcan's tough, huh? We got a homie right here. What's up, buddy? Now, I don't want to pick on any particular names of any, anybody. Like, I'm not going to drop any names or anything like that here. There's channels that I could pick on that I've watched that are big enough that maybe you'd know their name. I'm not going to bother with any of that. We're just going to talk about the type of channel that they are more so than their names. Okay, so some of the channels do actually try to provide you with some amount of educational content, as in they try to teach you about riding in some way. A lot of them, though, they're really there to just show off their crazy riding abilities or not abilities, as some of the cases may be. They're very flashy, expensive bikes, their friend group, right? It's just there to show off. It's not educational in any way. And I don't really necessarily have a problem with that per se, right? The fact that it's not educational and it's just sort of like empty entertainment, right? There's nothing inherently wrong with that. You're allowed to make empty entertainment. That's fine. Fluff entertainment is fine. Slop is fine. You don't have to like it. You don't have to consume it. You don't need to advocate for it. But it's fair to admit that just the existence of slop isn't necessarily the problem, right? The problem comes much more with who is watching it and what is it influencing them to do, right? So if you're watching these types of influencers who ride crazy, who don't wear gear, because that's one of the big ones, right? The two big ones are they ride real crazy and they don't wear gear. And those are the ones that you almost always hear about ending up dead. And you're hearing the splatter story, right? Splattered. And what were they doing? Almost every single time they were on the freeway, splitting traffic, doing 100 miles an hour plus. It's almost always what it was. Now, they do happen occasionally where it's a different type of accident, a T-bone at an intersection or something, much scarier, much more awful, I suppose. They're all awful, but like less of a rider inflicted problem, right? Where the splitting traffic, going real fast, those are rider inflicted problems. The rider did that. So either the rider misjudged what was going on around them, probably, didn't have the skills to deal with it, probably, a combination, probably, wasn't wearing enough gear, probably, da-da-da-da-da. And it's not new. Like, back in the day, hey, scrape them floorboards. Back in the day, you had the same problem. When I was young, you had the same problem of stupid people not wearing a helmet, stupid people not wearing gear, etc., etc. And you'd have them get ripped up in bad motorcycle accidents or die doing, that happened when I was a kid too. So it's not like it's a new phenomenon that's just, the problem now is it's been glorified, right? Back then, there wasn't a medium to glorify it the way there is now. Now, social media, you've just got this thing in your pocket with your phone where you could just record all your idiot behavior and put it out there and act like that's normal and a good idea. And unfortunately, I just think too many people see that shit. They see influencers, and I'm going to pick on the lady influencers here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say misogynist things. So everybody hold on. Joe's about to get pissy with people. Okay, girls, put your boobies away. Put your arms away. Get your tits out of the shot, okay? Cover your stuff up. The skin, you can't replace it. All that ink work some of you got, you can't buy that stuff back. It's just going to be gone. It's just cooked right off of you in road rash. And that's assuming you live. And so many of you don't. With your little booby shirts on and your little, what are the little yoga pants? You're riding a motorcycle in yoga pants. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay? And there's so too many of you doing this stuff. With your little vest on, your little Hooter shirt on. It is too much, man. Nice. Did you see bro in his cart? Ah, cool. Race cart. And there's some dudes that do it too, right? There's guys out there that like to have their buff chest out and their buff arms and their tattoos and stuff, and they like to ride around like that, looking all, you know, manly. And that's cool. That, you know, good for you, bud. Good for you. But like, it kind of sucks when young people, new riders, look at that shit and they think that's a good idea, and they think that that makes you a hard-edge motorcyclist. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You showing off your skin and your tattoos while you're riding your bike like an idiot through traffic does not make you a hard-edge motorcyclist. It makes you have a death wish. That's all that is. It's just utterly irresponsible. And it's stupid. And you're going to get somebody else hurt because they look at you and go, oh, I could do that. I guess my point is, the more stupid crap that idiots put out on social media, the more bad rap the hobby gets. The more drivers look at you side-eye. Oh, these motorcyclists out here. Oh, they're just all jerks. They're all just out here to break the law and be terrible. And if motorcyclists just mind their manners, just mind your manners and don't squid near people. Just stay away from other people while you do your squidding. I guarantee you normies will quit thinking about you, because they already basically don't think about motorcyclists at all until you're in their face. The more bad behavior there is out here on the roads, but also on social media, the more opportunity it is for the normies to think about you in a negative way. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think the hobby needs that crap. That's all I'm saying. I don't think the hobby needs that. There's already fewer and fewer people getting into motorcycling. Less and less people are comfortable with the risks. Less and less people have the money, because that's another issue. Motorcycling costs money. Okay, let's talk about the next thing, which is that I want to talk about influencers who are doing a good job, right? The opposite of what I've been talking about. These influencers that I think are not doing a very good job, right? Setting a poor example. I want to talk about the ones that I think are doing a good job. And again, I'm not going to mention any channel names in particular, because I'm not trying to start beef with anybody or whatever. This is just the types of channels that they run. The ones that you notice where they're very obviously trying to educate you on the finer points of motorcycling, right? They're offering technique tips. They're offering, you know, different riding skill style tips. They're talking about different bikes and the configurations you can ride. But they're obviously got an educational bent to them, right? The purpose is very obviously to teach you about some aspect of motorcycling, or just motorcycling broadly. Maybe there's some history involved, or, you know, other kinds of things like that, or mechanicking or whatever else. But the idea is that those channels are not focused on riding like an idiot and breaking the law in order to get clicks. Or, and again, I'm going to pick on the ladies here, putting their boobies in the shot to get clicks. I guess as a hobby, from my perspective, I think for the hobby, it is better to have those types of channels be the main driver of the hobby. And I know that's difficult sometimes, because let's be honest, boobies get a lot of clicks, right? And crazy behavior gets a lot of clicks, right? And wild stuff happening gets a lot of clicks. So I can understand why it's a draw for people to do shit like that. I get that there's a reason why they would do it. It's a terrible idea and they shouldn't be doing it, but I understand why they would be tempted. So as a consumer, when you're out there watching, if you're gonna watch influencers that are obviously setting a bad example, I would just ask, maybe consider don't subscribe to their channel, don't click like on their videos, and don't leave a comment. Now I know that could come off as sour grapes. Joe, you just are mad because they're getting clicks and you're not. Yeah, I guess. Okay, fine. But what about the whole hobby, right? The people who get clicks are the ones doing the stuff that makes everybody hate us more, that makes everybody look at motorcycles with side eye. And I don't know, that's a behavioral choice. So as a consumer of motorcycle content, maybe consider don't watch the booby girls who don't wear gear, and don't watch the idiot squids who ride through traffic and break the laws and act stupid, and don't click like on their videos. And yeah, because there doesn't need to be any more eyes on that kind of crap. That's all I really think it is. There just doesn't need any more attention on that shit. And this is kind of a rant from me, I get that. It's kind of ranty, you know, old man yelling at clouds, get off my lawn. Don't reward the bad behavior. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So if you're considering joining the motorcycling community, or you sort of live on the edge of the motorcycling community, or maybe you're right smack in the middle of the motorcycling community, at the very least consider not supporting or viewing the people who are very obviously setting a bad example. And maybe consider supporting and viewing people who are setting a good example. And I admit myself, I do not set a flawless example. There are things that I could definitely be probably doing better, including some of my riding behaviors that I've got on the channel that are, I don't know, probably not ideal. They're certainly not as bad as some of the behaviors that you can observe from others, but to pretend that I have flawless behavior is like, oh, that's probably not true. And so, again, you have to be careful with hypocrisy, because it's always looming for anybody, right? It's always waiting right there for you. All right, well, I think that's all I've got for you guys today. Just my little talk about, a little rant about motorcycle influencers and the kind of two different types that there are. The ones that are giving you good advice that's smart and useful, that's trying to keep you alive and keep you on your bike for as long as possible and as safe as possible. And then there's those that are just out farming for the clicks, and yeah, they don't really care if bad things happen to you, and some of them it seems like they hardly care if bad things happen to them. So based on how many of them have given it up at this point. So don't become a statistic, don't become one of them, don't get splattered out here, don't make the normies hate us even more. Yeah, cool, all right. Well, with that, that's the end of my little rant for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this talk. Thank you for following along. If you made it this far in the video, please consider clicking like and subscribe. It really helps out. And I'm not one of those big influencers who's got all that clout yet, you know? So this has been Joe. This is Motorcycle Time. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.